WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, X, and our website, www.wvtcdetroit.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner, Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
And I want to thank God once more for allowing me to be here with you. You know, several years ago, I was in New York City autographing the first book that I had written. And while sitting there autographing books, a demented black woman came up. The only question I heard from her was, "Are you Martin Luther King?" And I was looking down writing, and I said, "Yes." The next minute, I felt something beating on my chest. Before I knew it, I had been stabbed by this demented woman. I was rushed to Harlem Hospital. It was a dark Saturday afternoon. That blade had gone through, and the x-rays revealed that the tip of the blade was on the edge of my aorta, the main artery. And once that's punctured, you're drowned in your own blood. That's the end of you. It came out in the New York Times the next morning that if I had merely sneezed, I would have died. Well, about 4 days later, they allowed me, after the operation, after my chest had been opened and the blade had been taken out, to move around in the wheelchair in the hospital. They allowed me to read some of the mail that came in, and from all over the states and the world, kind letters came in. I read a few, but one of them I will never forget. I had received one from the president and the vice president. I've forgotten what those telegrams said. I received a visit and a letter from the governor of New York, but I've forgotten what that letter said. But there was another letter that came from a little girl, a young girl, who was a student at the White Plains High School. And I looked at that letter, and I'll never forget it. It said simply, "Dear Dr. King, I am a 9th grade student at the White Plains High School." She said, "While it should not matter, I would like to mention that I'm a white girl. I read in the paper of your misfortune and of your suffering. And I read that if you had sneezed, you would have died. And I'm simply writing you to say that I'm so happy that you didn't sneeze. And I want to say tonight, that I too am happy that I didn't sneeze, because if I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been around here in 1960, when students all over the South started sitting in at lunchtime.
Good afternoon. It is Monday at 4 o'clock, so it must be the Community Bell Show. But more importantly today, it is the celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. But for a sneeze. And I bet we never even thought how important a sneeze could be. But for a sneeze, we would not have had him as long as we had him. Didn't have him long enough, but we had him longer than we would have and he's not sneezed. Had he sneezed? So we're just happy to have had him for that period of time. Congratulations, everyone, to Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. We celebrate his birthday not because of the years he was with us, but because of what he did while he was with us. So we're just happy to be able to celebrate. And today we celebrate with two very special people. And you're going to say, well, I wonder why she had those two people on Martin Luther King's birthday. Well, let me tell you, both these people are doing things in the community. And I think this day is about doing things because Martin Luther King did things, unconventional things. And both of these young folk do unconventional things in the community. But it's such important work in the community. So let me introduce you to my two special guests today. Dwight Harris, you've known Dwight because Dwight has been on the show many, many times, but he does very special things in the community. And so it's appropriate that he be on to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday because Dr. Martin Luther King did special things. My other guest is someone who we've not had before. She's new to our show, but hopefully we'll have her back again. And that is Madam Big 50. And she's going to tell you what her real name is. But for today, we're going to say right now it's Madam Big 50. And she's here because she does special things in the community. And so it's not just about his birthday, but it's about what we do because of his birthday and with his birthday and the special things that we do to help people out. That's what he was about. So welcome, both of you. Dwight,
Thank
Big
you.
50, welcome. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
to have you with
Welcome.
us today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks
Thanks
Absolutely.
for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now, Dwight, I'm not gonna let you talk first because if I let you talk first, you'll go on and on and on. You're gonna take a back seat today to our new guest. Our new
Yeah.
guest. Big 50, welcome to the Community Bell Show. Thank you so much for joining us. We
Thank
know
you.
you've had some special circumstances and we send blessings to you and your daughter. We're glad she's
Thank you.
better and we're gonna keep her in prayer. But we're just so happy that you took the time to be with us this afternoon, given your special circumstances for the day. Talk to us about who Big 50 is for those of you in the audience who don't know who she is. Talk to us about who she is.
My name is DelRhonda. That's first. Big
Okay.
50 is the name I was given in street name.
Okay. So Rhonda,
That's
is
not
that
my
it?
yeah, DelRhonda.
DelRhonda.
Yes.
DelRhonda. Okay.
Okay. So still I get friends that call me Big 50, but I got friends that call me by my government name too. So
Okay. And you're gonna tell us why how you got that name Big 50 as we have this conversation.
well, it was a friend of mine. Many years ago, I was kind of in the street, more. I hate to say that. I don't even like that word no more. But I was dealing kind of heavy in the streets,
Okay.
and he gave me that because of my breath. They gone.
Okay.
I lost so much weight.
All right. So there it is, everybody. But we're talking to DelRhonda Hood. That's who we're talking to
That's
today.
who we talking to.
That's who we're talking to, and that's who we're going to talk to. And I want you
Amen.
to talk about what you do and the kinds of things we know you for in helping people.
Well, I'm very active in my community. I deal with a lot of at-risk teens. I love the kids, and I deal with incarcerated women and girls. As you know, I have been incarcerated at least 2, 3 times out my life. So I didn't get it right once. I didn't get it right 2 times. I got it right.
Okay.
Okay. So it took 2 times, and it shouldn't take no girl 3 times and nobody 3 times to get it right. So you know, it shouldn't take nobody that.
Shouldn't
You
take you
know,
that long, huh?
no, I just needed more guidance. You know, I really didn't have a lot of guidance, and I was kind of hard headed. I wanted to do things my way. So I felt like I didn't have a lot growing up. I grew up in the east side of Detroit. My father worked for the plant for Chrysler for many years. Did doing things he's supposed to do for his wife, and my mom was a wife, and she picked up a small job. So it didn't. I couldn't. I had the things I needed. I would say this. I probably wanted more things.
Okay.
So instead of dealing with the things that I supposed to have from my parents, I wanted to get more things, so I turned to life of crime.
Okay.
So I'm not ashamed to say that I'm open book and I'm a changed woman. So I felt like I talk to a lot of young girls because I feel like they need that talking today. The generations have changed. A lot of people can't reach, but a lot of kids I can. They listen to me. So I
You
do
have a story to
like,
tell.
yeah,
You aren't talking about somebody else or what you heard. You're talking about what you know.
myself. Yeah, what I know,
Mhm.
myself. I am a victim of being a molested child. I think that played a part in my life.
Mhm.
And I always tell women is pay attention to your children. Don't if they come and tell you something, don't blow them off. I feel really bad for the young girl Nasiah. And it really hurts me about the young man Jarvis Butts, what he did to her, and he felt her.
Yes.
The community felt her. The system felt her. So that really makes me want to get more involved in these young girls because they get misled, grown me,
Yes. Yes.
and so I do things like toy giveaways, food giveaways. If people need me to come and volunteer, I volunteer for food giveaways. I took 78 kids to see Wicked.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Usually I do things out my own dime, but I ask this time for donation and people who are really. So I made gift bags for the kids myself with lighter hats, lighter Santa hat, lighter Santa socks, and nice little candy bags. I made popcorn and unlimited popcorn and slushies for the kids that
Oh,
would
how
get it.
nice.
And then I get gifts. They had the sequin shirt and wicked brushes, diary, planner. So I bought all them things myself.
Wow. And that's important to a lot of these young children who don't
Yeah.
have anybody to even think about doing something like that.
No, I'm
And
gonna be active for these
yeah,
kids.
and many of them but don't even get a chance, don't know what a theater is, let alone get to go to it.
Yeah, especially we went to Birmingham.
Okay.
We went to Palladium. We had a little bit of a problem. The racism is still here.
Yeah.
And
Oh, absolutely.
I'm so glad we put this on Martin Luther King Day because another racial was on this day. And I felt like a lot of people don't care for Trump, but I'm not gonna say I don't care for him, but he's our president of the United States, and we have to deal with what we have to deal with. But I was glad that it was on this day because even in inauguration they acknowledged MLK Day.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why I wanted to have you guys on today because it is Martin Luther King's Day and it coincides with Inauguration Day. It's important that we get all the knowledge and have people recognize how important this day really, really is.
Really is.
It really is. Now, tell me, what changed your life? What made you, after that third time,
Well,
get it right?
I think people say it's not a difference in federal prison to state prison, but I have been doing federal prison, and I guess I thought it was the elite because I was in there with Mark Stewart and a couple other good.
Oh, okay. Using high cotton, as they say.
So they always called it Camp Cupcake, and like it was a piece of cake that was walking apart. But when I got to state prison, I learned it wasn't no different. A prison is a prison is a prison. It's just like a drug. A drug is a drug. Ain't no drug better than extra. It's all a drug.
Okay.
So I end up going to state prison years later, like 15 years later. I was like, why am I still repeating this? And then my children were looking at me kind of crazy, like, dang, you left us one time,
Mm-hmm.
And when my daughter, when they took I had to go to prison on her prom day.
Oh no.
So I had to get up that morning. My kids running in the room screaming and crying. You don't want to go to her prom. I was like, I had everything set up. It was beautiful downstairs. People are gonna come here, and I had to turn myself in. But before then, I talked to the prosecuting attorney and said, "Listen, hey, let's stay out for order." And they were saying, I always coming up with something, trying to, get over on the system. And here she goes again. But I'm like,
We lost you. We lost her, but that's okay. Dwight, we'll get her back. Dwight, how did you meet Big 50 or DelRhonda? Let me say, how did you meet DelRhonda?
I was wondering if you was gonna ask me.
Yes.
50 is family. I have my family. I'm from a family, one of the biggest families in Detroit. I never really talk about it. My father been in prison. My mother been in prison. My mother and father is from Fair Park 14 and
Okay.
Linwood Lane, Philadelphia.
Okay.
And so had a big family on both sides, especially my mother. And I was kind of everywhere. So I knew everybody all my life. But I was born and raised on Fair Park 14. 50.
yes.
You want to know how did I meet you?
Oh, this has got to be a story.
Tell it.
This has got to be a good one.
You tell it.
Go ahead, Dwight.
So I was just telling, I say, that big family. We've been knowing each other. We've been family all my life. And so it's like it's just in the book.
We got a good echo.
Are you telling it? Are you telling it all? You're not telling it.
No,
So
it was
so
like,
you know I've been to prison.
I know.
yeah.
And so my
but I
life
know his family.
was this real. So I was very solo. I knew everybody. I could go in any neighborhood in Detroit in my life. I have family all over Detroit, and I still do.
Right.
Okay.
So that's kind of my life. I never talk about it like that. But that's kind of, I know everybody. I don't think it's nobody I really know.
Yeah, you know a lot of people like me. I well rounded myself with people because I am, in spite of anything else, I'm a people person and love people, and I didn't want people to paint me as a monster. As I was saying, with these young girls out here today, thinking that the fast life is lame, they jump in, they're crap. It's nothing like it used to be. These kids are taking Percocet. They think, I don't know where they get this from, where they can take something from people. We were taught, even when we were younger, don't take other people's medicine.
Yes.
I don't understand the kids today. Well, take something somebody give. I think social media got them all hyped up. TikTok tricked them for a minute, for 12 hours. They nearly dead people was calling 911 when TikTok went down. Now that's if that social media can have so much effect on our children, so they'll call 911 and they won't do their schoolwork. So I just don't know. I don't.
Some of the work.
A lot of social media for children, and I don't believe in women giving them kids those iPads from quiet.
I agree.
I believe if you gave a kid the iPad, it's for them to learn, not to watch nothing on, and because they don't have the parental guidance.
That's the key. There's no direction.
There's no direction. So if I say my children in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, they would bring their computers and their phones and put them on my dresser at 10 o'clock. That's the turn I want my children. Because I didn't put TVs in their bedrooms because that's your peak. That's your school. That's where you're supposed to get your rest so your brain can get up and learn from school. So they will have to go to the theater or in the family.
Exactly. My
And
kids
people
didn't
say
have
I'm hard on the children, I'm hard on my kids. Well, they're grown now and I'm still kind of hard.
well, but the key is they are still here and they're grown.
Mm-hmm.
That's important because so many of these babies are just out there and not they're just out there. It's scary.
Yeah,
It's just very scary.
that's why I advocate a lot with incarcerated women and girls because a lot of women locked up in prison. Matter of fact, my son went to school with a young lady and they graduated together. They best friends. Her mother went to prison 32 years. Had double life plus 50. Biden, President Biden exonerated her yesterday.
Oh, is that your
That's
friend?
Michelle West. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I read that. Oh
Yeah.
my.
So we're
Wow.
so happy she be home February 18th.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I saw that and I said, well, thank you. Because what she didn't rise to the level of life in prison or 50 years or whatever.
They had double life plus 50.
Yes, double. That just.
The thing is the system is so messed up. Well, when people go and tell on people, they don't dig into things. They just automatically go with what the person said.
Mm-hmm.
So with federal prison, if you have any kind of drug and murder that came into play, they think drug-related murder, they give you all that. But they didn't look at the facts of the matter, and she claimed her innocence for 32 years.
Wow.
You know? She's not saying she's clean cut, she's all the way to the point, but she didn't do all that.
She didn't do what they said she did.
Yeah, she didn't do what they said.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So we
isn't that
advocate for her.
a blessing that she's coming home?
Yeah, National Council, we walked, we marched, we did everything. The National Council, free her women, girls, and Andre James is our leader. She's phenomenal. She was down there this whole week. She said, "I'll be here." He pushed that pen for her.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? I did read that this morning that she had been exonerated and she's coming home.
Yes.
I said, wow. And when I looked at the reason she was there, I said, but that doesn't make sense that she would be there for double life.
Double life plus 50. She did life already.
That is just.
I think that's just ridiculous and it's too much time. I mean, as us being black African American people, they didn't give us really much of a choice. So they think that we go out and do all kinds of bad things, but that is not the case. And also, I want to make a point. I watched the inauguration. A lot of my friends was like, "Why are you watching that crap?" I said, "Because it's important to me because it's MLK." So I really see what I was going to get out of the inauguration. And the young black man that spoke like Martin Luther King about freedom now. Freedom has been enslaved and what was passed down the torch that was passed to us. So that's why I'm saying the kids today. This torch was passed out from my ancestors. So they need to really dig deep and look at this. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all our leaders.
Yes.
They don't read no more. They don't have cursive writing in the school anymore.
Isn't that amazing that they don't teach cursive? Like they got to be able to write their name. They got to be able to sign the name on something.
That's all the
teach cursive. That's amazing.
They're not to say the pledge of allegiance or nothing in the class anymore. And now that Trump is in, you know how they had to hire so many minorities. They don't have to do that now.
No, they don't. They're eliminating all those diversity and equity programs. They're eliminating those, and I just believe that we need to. We've got some power. I don't think people know how much power they have.
Yeah.
And people need to show that power
And we need to come together as a whole.
Exactly.
We
Come
don't.
together as a whole and show the power that we really do have. And there's some folks that, okay, so you don't think I'm important enough to have diversity. I shouldn't have equity. Well,
Right.
maybe I shouldn't buy your products. Maybe I shouldn't
Exactly.
even deal with you. Because we do have some power, so we need to figure out what that power is. And
And
after
take our
this,
power back. A
take
lot
it
of
back.
people give their power up.
Take it back. That's right.
Yes. And
Take
like I
it back.
said, any president, you know, everybody always say Obama, hands was tied, he didn't do this and do that. Well, Obama had to go to the House and Senate, and they didn't let him do a lot of things. Even when he walked in today, they booed.
Yes. And it's interesting. People don't understand how their country works.
They don't.
They don't understand the power of the House and the Senate.
Exactly.
And they need to read and learn how it really works. And I'm not sure it's even taught as it should be in schools. So
No,
these
they
kids don't know what a Senate is, what the Congress is, what the powers are. They don't even know what the Constitution is. They need to at least make them read it.
They don't even
have a
have
test on it.
They skim
like
they
this
skim
in the schools no more. They taking that out.
Yes.
they
Dwight,
skim it.
what's that, Dwight?
They skim it. They skim the knowledge. They never get into the details of it. They just cross it.
Well, that's why we've got people in this country who don't understand what the real deal is, because they aren't reading it, and there's nobody there to explain it to them.
The teachers are not teaching.
That's right.
You know, and they figure it's all a big check. So nobody's taking the time with these children. So that's why time with incarcerated women and girls and children, they locked up. I'm going to try to do things that I have to do. Just like a couple days ago, I got a call saying someone needs your help. They need your help. And I'm like, what's going on? And the young lady said, I got kids over here in the gym that I try to take care of. Says 4 of them homeless. She said, it's one that I really take a liking to, because even though it's cold out here, he don't have a coat. He had a windbreaker that was torn, and he walked to school. If the bus leaves him, he will walk all the way to Fort. Okay, he's a straight A student. So I called some people yesterday. My friends, they brought socks, coats, hats, hoodies, gym shoes, and I'm still getting donations right now. In the microwave, young lady brought it to me. She had brought him a bed, brought him a TV. We put a lock on the door. You know, till you get it together with moms. Moms got to get it.
Parents need to work through this, because these babies aren't out here doing stuff on their own. Parents have some responsibility.
Exactly.
Parents have some responsibility in taking care of them and leading them in the right direction. And so, I just believe we need to talk to the parents a lot more to make sure that these parents understand.
Because they like something somewhere, you know. I go to things school and talk to the children over there to keep me over there. And I take them all kinds of good clothes, good boots and shoes and stuff. We just have a girls, you know.
Yeah, and especially our girls. We've got to take care and be so protective of our girls.
Yeah, the girls are not being little girls anymore. The young girls are just, they overdo it. I just think when I was a little young girl, I was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I did think, but I didn't think the fast. I didn't look at grown men and think these men was for me. I do that.
Yes, at 12 years old, when I heard about this baby, this 12-year, 13-year-old who's been raped by and that's what he was.
They
raped her.
so, and the aunties
and killed her because she wouldn't have an abortion. I mean, it's just.
She did. She wanted a morning after pill. He had Google and on how to abort, a remedy how to abort a baby. But the grandmother, she got 6 other kids over there. Y'all not with these children. Don't take over as being a grandparent when you're not going to do your duty.
Exactly.
So I kind of fought her too. I fought the aunties because aunties had children with him, that he was raping them too.
Oh
He
no.
raped the 4-year-old and gave her
Stop.
chlamydia. He raped the 4-year-old and gave her chlamydia.
Oh, girl, stop.
Oh, honey, let me tell you, I'm dirty with it. And let me say this, if it had been my 4-year-old, he would have met Jesus.
And see, I'm telling you, I tell people that all the time. I've got one granddaughter, and Lord knows what would happen to anybody.
Yes, for sure. And you protect your baby.
You got to protect your babies.
And
That's
it
our
just
job.
doesn't make any sense to me how this child sat and walked in on that court. It was just horrible. It was horrible. Everybody felt her, you know. And then they let him out. He had did 10 years in prison for it before.
Oh my gosh. And how could you have that person around anybody's children?
Well, they liked him because he was light skinned. He had nice hair. You
Oh,
know,
stop.
the system got African American women messed up.
Yeah.
That if the man had nice hair and he was light skinned, he was
That's a
nice
good
looking,
thing.
you want to be with him.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Dwight, as you talk to the men that you're around, how do they react to this kind of horrible thing that these guys have done? This child that was killed, and the other young lady that was just kidnapped by her boyfriend. We had her uncle on the show a week or so ago, and now we know that she's dead, and they're looking for her in a trash dump someplace. Just
In
the
this
inhumane.
in this civil world,
That you would do that to another person, put them in a dumpster, and they've got to try to find this baby in a dumpster.
so it's not. You can't do the things that they think, like what people are doing, what they how they feel about it. Civil, they need to be dealt with. Domestic violence is on the rise. They not just hitting and smacking women. They taking them away from their home, kidnapping them, putting them in their car, and taking them somewhere else and cutting them up, or putting them in the landfill, or putting them in the garbage can. I believe. I mean, we're suffering from trauma in our community. You can't pinpoint who's doing what. But as a community, we have responsibility. We have mental health challenges in our community. There were a lot of domestic abuse, sexual abuse in the household during COVID. We're still suffering the residuals of a lot of those things, a lot of abuse, all those things that happen in the household during COVID. Some of those things are still exacerbated in the household that's going on there because no one has said anything, or the kid feels like this is my favorite uncle, you know, or this is my favorite granddaddy, you know. So I believe we need to be more involved. When we say we're not just talking about the people we know. We're talking about all the people that we come in contact with in that community. That's the only way that we can keep our eyes on our children. Because when people bring their children out of their household, we all have responsibility to pay attention to the children.
Right.
It's everybody's job to watch the babies.
Everybody's job.
And I know this is probably not going to sound godly. I'm sorry, God, but I think that men and community need to deal with folks who do that. They need to know that you can't do that. They need to know that there's some consequences to you doing things to our children. And I know I'm probably not supposed to say that, but they need to have, they need to,
I love her.
They need to know that there are consequences, and those consequences are not good consequences if you are doing things to our children. They just need to have something done to them. I'm not
for
sure what that is.
I believe in that strongly because
But you're talking about somebody's babies. And it messed up their lives. They need to know there are consequences, and it's not just from the legal system. They need to know that the community is not going to have it.
Well,
And
back
there
in
are
the day,
people in the
community
community that will take them out.
Yeah, it was back in the day, the community would get on you when you touch them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So now I believe with him, they're gonna deal with him when he gets to prison, because that judge is very upset with him. She says, stand up, coward, hide behind your lawyers. Oh, she just let him have it. I just loved it. I loved every minute of it. And he gonna get what he deserved. And all these women that thinking this light-skinned man is super fine, and he sit there and rape your kids and all the kids, all the girls' kids that he dealt with. He had like 13 children.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, he had like 13 children. He's a mom.
So I want to say this. This one thing I want everybody to know. That when girls could not get to them when they came there. Yeah. What officers protect means the community paying for their protection when they go in there. Yes, we gotta be civil, but I don't. But I can tell you now
Well, see, if
that
it
a lot
wasn't
of
one of
guys
mine,
in
I wouldn't
prison,
have to be civil.
I
I wouldn't have to be civil if it was one of mine. I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just telling you now.
Me too. I feel like you, Bill.
I'm telling you.
That's just, I mean, we are here to protect the children.
That's right.
We
They
have to
expect us to
protect
protect them.
You know, we gotta protect these children. And then another thing, they're always coming up with something. So they always do this to our children. Remember, at first it was, oh, he's ADD, he needs Ritalin, and he's running around. So every decade they come up with something else. Oh, he's mental illness. He has, and I think they instill all this in our children, so they really believing they have mental illness or ADD.
You're right.
And what I don't understand is every decade they come up with something.
There's something new.
Then they say, okay, don't get the children shot because they get the children autism. But that's another fact. And they only doing it to our black male babies.
See, it's just not acceptable.
They want to reproduce.
But that's the other part of this. The other population has stopped having babies, and they're scared that another population is going to have so many babies they're going to outnumber them.
They're gonna outnumber.
That's what this is about. Brown folk and other folk.
They want us eliminated.
Yes.
African American.
I want.
My kids did a study years ago in school about what black people gonna look like in 2050. Y'all pull it up. People gonna be looking at the darker skinned people or the brown people like, where they they trying to eliminate us.
Yes.
The black people not gonna look black anymore. My kids pulled it up for me. I couldn't believe it. 2050. Look at
I do.
He wants to take it to Mars.
Oh my, yes. What's that, Dwight?
I just want to say that me and Big 50, we have been doing a lot of things in the last couple of years. She created Godmother's Touch, which is really who DelRhonda Hood is. And so she's been engaged around the community. She's doing Toys for Tots. She do a lot of big events with a lot of sponsors helping WJCC Rise and a lot of the other Macy's and a lot of different sponsors help her with her program. I think this year she did a real good job with Toys for Tots. She did a back to school drive. And it's a whole I think the Wiz, the movies.
Yeah,
the movies we took all the kids to.
All the time I do stuff with kids all the time.
Yeah.
It don't have to be it has to be a holiday or something. I just do it all year round.
And
Anybody
that's
that
so
I'm getting it together for.
And so our plan is we are called Wicked City Icon 10 and just partner with a lot of organizations and advocates that do a lot in the community. We are partner to be able to be more effective in our communities, because once we partner, that puts us in all the communities, and we can't affect change in a way that will fit.
absolutely.
It's called intrinsic work. Our advocacy is intrinsic because we know these people, or we know somebody know these people, and we provide our services and resources that way.
And people need to be able to trust whoever it is they're doing it. They trust you, and that's important.
That's important.
And Godmother's Touch is connected with our CBI and all those things that we do in the community. And it's another other organizations that we are partnered with that we gonna contract to do the things that we need people in the community. Ain't gonna be in Detroit on the west side where we at. So.
Okay.
And going for programming and sustaining that, where we sustain that, where it's always that way, not just because we get it, but we want to make sure that it's sustainable and people are living in Detroit.
And that's what's important. People need to feel that there's somebody all the time, not just on special occasions,
Right.
but they are important all year long.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
just certain times of the year. We're going to hear a few more words from Dr. Martin Luther King from one of his speeches. This is Martin Luther King's day, and we want to hear some more words because what you guys do is what he talked about doing, helping people, no matter the circumstances, helping people.
And I knew that as they were sitting in, they were really standing up for the best in the American dream and taking the whole nation back to those great wells of democracy which were dug deep by the founding fathers in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been around here in 1961 when we decided to take a ride for freedom and ended segregation in interstate travel. If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been around here in 1962. The Negroes in Albany, Georgia, decided to straighten their backs up. And whenever men and women straighten their backs up, they are going somewhere because a man can't ride your back unless it is bent. If I had sneezed, if I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been here in 1963. The black people of Birmingham, Alabama, aroused the conscience of this nation and brought into being the Civil Rights Bill. If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have had a chance later that year in August to try to tell America about a dream that I had had. If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been down in Selma, Alabama to see the great movement there. If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been in Memphis to see a community rally around those brothers and sisters who are suffering. I'm so happy that I didn't sneeze. And they were telling me.
How about that? That didn't sneeze, and we're just happy that he didn't sneeze. And he talked about going to Memphis. And if you've not been to Memphis to see the museum there, it's worth the visit.
I went last year.
It's worth the visit. The Lorraine Motel, Memphis has put together this great museum. It's worth your going to visit, but it's still eerie to see the room where he was. And the balcony, it's very eerie to see that in real life, but well worth it, worth it. Let me get back to folks here in Detroit and probably across the country, and what's important. And I want to continue to talk about how we help the babies. They're babies. They are our responsibility. And that's why I'm so glad to have you guys on today, because you know what that responsibility is. Both of you have been incarcerated. You know what it's like to be incarcerated, but you also know what it's like to come out and do the kinds of things that you do today. I think that's why you're successful, because people know that you've been there. So when you're talking to them about you don't want to do this, you don't want to go there, you know. Now I can tell them you don't want to do that, but they look at me like, really? How do you know? But you tell them, that's a whole nother ball game.
No.
Because you know.
Yeah, I
also
went through what what's the other? I can't think of that name. I got blank on the name.
Who is it?
Name one of the leaders now.
Um,
And
Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson. Poor baby, he's on
yeah,
his
he's
decline. But
it was
Jeffries, Congressman Hakeem
the
Jeffries,
Allah man. What's his name? I can't think of it.
Farrakhan.
Farrakhan. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's a shame. I'm gonna blank on Farrakhan. I went and seen Farrakhan one year, and I really wanted to see, how the movement was. And he spoke about, and he said, some of you men are going to be mad at me, but I'm going to say what I got to say. He said, don't trust, he said, ladies, don't trust, no, he said, no, he said, ladies, don't trust no one with your children, not even their father. And people were upset for it. That always stuck in my head, and I was like, it's so true. They were mad, but it was so true.
It's been proven. It's been
Yeah,
proven
it's been
time
proven.
and time again that you are the keeper of the babies.
For sure.
And you've got to be sure of who's around those children. And I just believe that you know, you may not say that you know, but you know when there's something wrong.
You know.
And it's your responsibility.
Kids, I know when you see kids that off to themselves, all those are signs.
Yes.
Don't play with the children, withdrawn. They be having different. I'm just not saying issues with being touched. They be it's about identifying. They don't know. They're not identifying with themselves. Like, I don't know if I'm a boy or a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Kids be withdrawn and don't somebody to talk to. And people don't pay attention to that. They just the parents will say, "Oh, Sheila, she's just to herself. She's just to herself all the time."
No,
So they
not
don't
all
look
the
at
time.
things.
Not all the time.
So they have a big crisis. They don't know who they are. That's why I deal with LGBTQ also, because I deal with more of the young teens and maybe in their 20s,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times the parents don't understand. They'll throw them out to the wolves.
Yeah, and that's heartbreaking.
And it's heartbreaking because it's still your child.
Yes.
So you should not throw your child out and he get hurt or she get hurt.
And then you want to cry and fall all over the coffin.
Yeah.
you know how it goes. And that's the very one who didn't do what they were supposed to do to help that person.
Yes, and they do. So I like to get hold to them. They are people.
Yes.
And
they're people. We got to treat people the way we want to be treated. My mother always told me, treat other people the way you want to be treated.
Yes, that's so true. I just believe I'm do more in that community with them. And I don't want to single them out because they're just like us. I just don't want nobody mistreating them, hurting them in the street.
Exactly. Because you wouldn't want anybody to mistreat or hurt your child. So why would you mistreat or hurt anybody else's child? That's right. Just the way it is. DelRhonda, thank you so much for being on with us today. Thank you for celebrating Martin Luther King's birthday with us today. We appreciate you. We're going to have you back, and we'll have you in the studio when the weather's better and when you've got some others, your daughter's better and all of that. I'd love to have you come to the studio. Thank you so much for joining us. Dwight, thank you as always for joining us. We appreciate your insight and your words about what we need to take care of each other, because that's really what it's about. We need to take care of each other. I grew up in the projects, and we took care of each other. It was a wonderful community. We were all poor and didn't know it. Because everybody took care of each other. Everybody took care of each other. And on that note, exactly. Exactly.
Parents
We're
can
going to
whoop
say,
you. Other parents can whoop you.
exactly, exactly. And we're going to say again, congratulations to you two for being with me today and for what you do and celebrating this Martin Luther King's birthday with WVTC Radio Detroit. Stellar Award winning WVTC Radio Detroit. Thank you so much. We'll see you next Monday on the Community Bell Show. Have a great week.
You too. Blessings.
I love teaching others because when I first got into the healthcare field, people overlooked me. I was really a ninth grade dropout who had no education, but I was determined to make something of myself for my baby. So Motor City matched the funds I put into my business. They awarded me $20,000. So now I'm able to focus solely on first step healthcare training and give it everything it needs. All because I live in Detroit.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit.
Hi, I'm Judge Craig Strong, and I love listening to WVTC Detroit.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.